Welcome back to another reaction, this time for Release That Witch. Now, I have not looked too much into it. It just started last week. I do remember reading some kind of comic around the same title. I don't know if this is the same one or not. We will have to see. Okay. Okay. This is okay. Whatever this is. So let's see if that is the one I do remember. Again, the one I remember was in Isekai, so let's see. Supposedly this one does not have too many episodes. As you can hear, shiny. A little bit greedy, but sure. What the fuck? Okay, that was a big opening scene. Lots of stuff going on, earthquake, a lot of disaster, the mines collapsing, people dying. Okay. I was a little bit questioning the sound effects because we did not really hear much about the people until the end, where we had this big, shout more or less or cry out. And then the witch, okay. Again, if it's the same story I read, it's all about rescuing witches essentially, because they are seen as bad for some reason. I do not remember too much. A long time ago since I checked that one out. So we will see. Very similar. Probably the same. Biggest problem is I don't know if the comic that I read, if it was the Chinese digital comic. I don't know what they have as the name. It's all similar but slightly different. I see it always as like a manhwa, the Korean type, because it has the scroll version with one part that I see for manhwa as example a lot is a lot of white spaces between the panels. So that is why I always see it like that. Now, if it is the same, then we are going to have someone reincarnate as a prince or whatever, or the leader of the town coming in, and he's more or less saying, Release that witch, the namesake.
殿下可真是日理万机呀，连下个裁决的时间都抽不出来。卡特，你说殿下这次能起得来床吗？ 嗯，
Here, normal armor, looking good, solid. This looks weird.
嗯，也
Armor
对，
that is.
咱边陲镇地远人稀，又有女巫作祟，殿下怕是不想久留啊。哼，不如赶快回瑰宝去吧。啊？蒂尔，
巴洛夫大人，
殿下呢？
殿下还睡着。
殿下，殿下，殿。
Looked like someone was trying to assassinate someone. Maybe that is why he got reincarnated into that body. Some isekais do that. They are like, okay, the person before died and they more or less took over the empty body. Through sickness, assassination, many ways. Yeah. What do you mean, Densha? What the fuck are you doing? He's not doing good. Move faster.
醒醒！殿下，殿下，
Yeah, your Densha is dead.
这里是女巫的时间到了，所有人都在等着您的裁决。
啊？裁决？什么裁决？我是在做梦吗？
殿下，
这种真实感。啊！
殿下，
你，
殿下，你没事吧？
巴洛夫，你叫巴洛夫？
是，殿下，是的，是我，您的仆人巴洛夫。
Oh, he's a servant. I assumed he would be like a mentor.
殿下，出行的时间到了，我们出去吧。
哦。先静观其变吧。
啊，殿下，你怎么了？殿下，咱们快走吧。
我到底经历了什么？
Now the question is, who wanted to assassinate him? Because he supposedly is like a prince. There could be multiple princes, and you have like a succession thing. It may also be one of the other two dudes who is like, I want to take control of the town, and he's in the way, kind of thing. It could also be that the prince was an asshole and just got what he deserved. Oh, okay. It was a little bit, what do you mean? But it was because the knight was moving. Again, armor looks good here. I don't know what that one shot was. It looked like the shoulder pads were in front of him for some reason. I like the idea of the shot always being used, because again, this is very hard to do. I don't really know how hard it is, but I see this type of shot being tried over and over again, and this is very hard to pull off well. Where you have someone moving, you have the camera rotating around the character. This one, not bad, but you see some discrepancies. It's not bad, but also not excellent. I know there are multiple ways to do this. That is why CG is so good in cases like this, because in CG you can move around, you can have movement, and camera can do all sorts of stuff. It is very hard to do in 2D. So yeah, okay, there's the assassin lady. I do wonder how she was able to assassinate him. I don't believe the prince would just drink out of anyone delivering him wine. So there had to be some kind of connection. But yeah, this seems to be the story that I read quite some time ago. I do know somewhat the main drive, or the main thing that is happening, the main meat of the show. I don't really know much about the story, about the prince and assassination thing. No clue about that.
女巫？
殿下，请尽快下达裁决。
她就是你们说的女巫？
是的，殿下。
狩猎女巫？不行，这太荒唐了。困了，改天再盘。今天都散了吧。
殿下，殿下，这不是开玩笑。女巫身份一旦确认，就应该立即处死，不然会招来其他女巫的。
卡特兰尼斯。
是，殿下。
Now, what I would do in this situation, and I hope he also does, is find out why she was tried. So, I mean, now he knows it's like, okay, if you identify a witch, you need to execute the witch, or other witches are coming. And that is bad. Why? Is the question I would have.
我的首席骑士。
是。
你不会害怕了吧？多来几个女巫，一网打尽不是更好？
可是
I mean, he's not wrong. By the way, who's now giving the command to dismiss?
王子殿下，为什么不绞死女巫？
Is that the carriage of the prince? It is. Was that not your home? I mean, he clearly had to know who the one was that brought him the wine, right? Whoever it was, I would never trust them again. Again, this moving panning shot. I mean, pretty well done. It always feels like a flex, because there's no real reason for you to have to do that. But they still decided to do 2 of those. Here we have CG, okay. Again, this is, even though people are going to, you know, especially animals in CG, but this is how you can abuse them. This in 2D would be, I mean, would be a little bit harder. Not as hard as the panning shot, but in 3D you can make this a lot easier, a lot smoother, and you will rarely get or come into problems here. And you do also see the mix of like 2D to 3D. This always is a little bit hit or miss. Sometimes the 3D sticks out a lot, sometimes it does not. You have to be careful if you mix 2D and 3D. Isn't that the assassin girl? She's still around. It looked like she wanted to run away after the assassination, but after seeing she did not succeed, she probably had to go back to her position. So why does an insignificant prince, unreliable territory, no, unreliable prince, insignificant territory, why do you want to assassinate him? I mean, uncivilized society is quite far-fetched. Because his only reason why he would assume this is uncivilized society is because of the witch hunt. But he doesn't really know what the witch did. For all he knows, she could have burned everyone down and killed a bunch of people. Then, I mean, the hanging would be warranted. On the other hand, she may have done nothing. Martine Wimbledon. Charles Wimbledon. A lot. Which is the exciting part about Isekai. You can make a lot. And this one, I remember when I read it, I liked the idea behind it, which is most of the Isekai I have watched or read. And I did like in which direction it went. Even though I found it a little bit... I had my problems, as always. Which is one of the reasons why I did not continue reading it after like 160 or so chapters, I believe. But because of the structure, it is really easy to digest and read through. I mean, you don't really have a choice.
从今天起，我就是罗兰·温布顿了。
早上好，殿下。
This would be the worst part about being summoned in medieval age. The food is so bad.
殿下，您找我。
巴洛夫，坐。
especially in significant territory, I hope you have salt. Imagine eating food without having salt and pepper. Holy crap. Imagine you don't even have garlic. Oh, man.
谢谢。殿下，您昨天为什么不下令行刑？此事非同小可，拖不得呀。
哦，怎么说？
有卫兵报告，西边森林发现疑似女巫的踪迹，他们在那儿找到了这个。
Okay.
山和魔眼之印是女巫共筑会的徽记。
Illuminati, huh?
女巫共筑会是什么？
一个女巫的组织，在她出。
Now here's the first thing. If I was in this world and he was like, yeah, there's an organization of witches and they could come and live in your territory, I would be like, what do you mean witches? Do you mean male witches? There are no male witches, only female. You mean I would get a lot of potential female love interest? By just accepting them? Maybe we should be a little bit more advanced. Green hair.
在她出现之前，女巫们都是单独行动，但共筑会不同，她想要把
Okay, the last one looked a little bit dangerous.
所有女巫都聚集起来，一同寻找所谓的圣山。
你说圣山？
有传言说，他们只有前往圣山，才能获得永远的安宁。为了这个目的，共筑会甚至主动引诱他人变成女巫。
I need to get my mind out of the gutter. It's like, oh, they are searching for the holy mountain. He could give you the holy mountain, Nonetheless, you can get other people to become witches.
碧水港去年不是有女婴
So you can give someone witch abilities now. This is going to be a bit spoilery, yes. But I believe every witch has like their main focus of ability that they are good at. Instead of being like mages. They're like, oh, I can, as example, the one we saw in the opening, she can do fire. It's not like she can use or make water. Fire is her thing.
碧水港去年不是有女婴集体失踪吗？传言就是他们干的。
你是担心共筑会听到她没死，跑来救她？
正是如此，殿下。那群疯子连婴儿都会偷，恐怕不会放过一个已经堕落的伙伴。殿下，您得尽快处死那个女巫，把她的同伴引来就麻烦了。一旦有谁变成女巫，她就会获得可怕的力量，即使是骑士们也难以匹敌。
Would they? But you captured that witch. Why did you? How were you able to catch her? If it's so hard.
你说力量，那是什么样的力量？你们又是如何抓住她的？
前几天北坡矿洞塌方，他使用了巫术，暴露了身份。
什么样的巫术？
他释放出邪恶的火焰，烧死了一个人。受害者像被融化了一样，头和大半截身子平摊在地上。您是不会想看到。
I mean, now it would make sense. Okay, you want her hanged because she killed someone. Okay, understandable. How were you able to catch her if she's able to burn people to the ground? Why didn't she burn the knights to the ground?
那样的场景的，所以殿下，咱们还是趁早把那女巫给
带我去见见她。
什么？您要见那名女巫？
没错。
殿下，殿下。
I mean, she's probably still where we left her, or in that area. So we go back, I guess?
等等，等等，殿下。
不过，为什么是绞刑？
Also a good question.
处死女巫，一般来说，不都是用火刑吗？
是吗？可是，他不畏惧火焰呢。
殿下，这样做太危险了，对方可是一名邪恶的。
Holy shit. Old man, shut the fuck up.
就算他被神罚之所困住，也不一定能保证安全。
Oh, it's the knight now. Knight, shut the fuck up. Oh, she's bound by God's locket of retribution. That is why she can't use her ability, okay? How did you get her in that? How did you get that locket around her?
不敢直面邪恶，又怎能战胜邪恶？我以为我的首席骑士明白这些道理。
那也要量力而行，鲁莽不等于勇敢。
所以你是说，遇到弱敌可以伸张正义，遇到强敌就该视而不见？
不，殿下，不，殿下，我不是这个意思。
Okay. I mean, the first thing that I would do is get bigger benches. How much more is the bigger bench going to cost? Not that much, right? If someone was trying to attack, they would need to exert themselves just to get up. Imagine trying to get up with that kind of armor around you. And that while being attacked. Get bigger benches. What is that? Some torture device? I do find it insane that you just unlocked the cage. She cute, so she is innocent, right?
不要紧张 ，cut， 退下。
可是，殿下，
你叫什么名字？我是边陲镇的领主，辉宝王国第4王子罗兰·温布顿。你叫什么名字？
我叫安娜。
安娜小姐，矿区那天发生了什么事情？我想请你详细的告诉我。事情，我想请你详细的告诉我。
我父亲是一名矿工。
For some reason, I assumed she wouldn't have parents. I don't know why. But if the miner that got attacked by the other one was her dad, makes a lot more sense.
矿区塌方的时候，他正在里面工作。我跑进矿洞去想找到他。由于塌方，我的父亲被倒塌的石块压住了腿。和他一起逃的另一个矿工，想要趁机抢走他身上仅有的几个硬币。那是我父亲半生的积蓄。
Why does he have his life savings in the mine? Does he just keep it on his body so it doesn't get stolen? Maybe?
是我们父女俩相依为命的全部依靠，所以我父亲拼死也要反抗。
Wouldn't it make more sense to keep it somewhere else? But I mean, it's peasants. They probably never thought too much about it. They probably were like, Dad is the strongest, he's going to keep the money.
就在我找到他们的时候，我看见那名矿工举起了铁镐，想要杀死我的父亲，所以我只好杀死了他。
What about your dad?
那你又是如何被捕的呢？
有人告发了我。
Your dad reported you, didn't he?
告发？是什么人告发你的？
Yeah, it was your dad. Okay. Meaning you can become a witch without having met a witch just by growing up. You can just develop these abilities. Interesting. So far as we know, at least. So she defended her father. Her father reported her, and she did not resist the arrest, which is one big important part, because if she fought against the knights, what she's saying could be wrong, could be true, who knows, but because she didn't fight back, it lends a lot more credence to what she's saying. But I don't know if she is willing to survive because she lost her family, essentially.
是他的父亲，殿下。
什么？你说，告发他的是他的父亲？
Which I feel like is... I don't really know how often this was the case in the Middle Ages, where your father would rat you out for something that potentially was not bad. If you, as example, let's say you get attacked, your family gets attacked by a bandit or by a guard. Let's say a guard. The guard attacks your family. You take up a sword. You kill the guard to defend your family from getting killed. And then your family says, or, you know, is ratting you out and saying you killed a guard. I don't know how often this happened. I'm using this example as someone you should probably not have killed, but you killed in self-defense, and your family, knowing that you defended them and that is why you killed the guard, still went and ratted you out. I don't know how often this happened. I don't know many parents who would sell out their kids. Now, granted, there are some parents that should definitely sell out their kids. There's always a line, in my opinion, where it's like, okay, stand with your family, stand with your children. Until their line is crossed, then it's like, they're not your children anymore. They're, you know, foreign people that you should maybe rat out.
大概是为了赏金吧。
Even worse. Okay.
发现并举报女巫者能得到25枚金龙的奖励，对于一个摔断腿的人，这相当于下半辈子的保障了。
对方是一名成年男子，你是如何杀死他的？
就是你们说的魔鬼之力。
是吗？魔鬼之力，可以让我看看吗？
I mean, no, she is under effect where she can't.
殿下，
殿下，他现在只是被神罚之时压制住了，一旦解放，后果不堪设想啊！
您是第一次见到女巫吗，大人？您的好奇心可能会害死您。
如果你，
大人，您的好奇心可能会害死您。
如果你真的是一个邪恶的魔鬼，那么死的不应该是我，而是你的父亲。
He is right. If she's really a devil, she would take revenge on her dad.
殿下，你要做什么？
殿下，
Man, they're like, Your Highness, Your Highness, please don't. I mean, understandable, they can't really do much against the prince. They can't really stop him. They can only be like, that is a bad idea. I'm doing it anyway. Bad idea still?
殿下，殿下，您在干什么？
I do like the eyes.
来吧，你究竟是一个可怜的女孩，还是一个演技高超的魔鬼？让我看看吧。
Let me see by dying myself, I guess.
殿下，
So, if you were able to touch him the whole time, why didn't you stop him beforehand? Now it's too late.
殿下，快离开这里！
不可能！等一下，你看，
Is she affected by the fire?
火焰没有烧出来。
It's like 3 seconds. You do have to wait until stuff comes too close.
他在有意识地控制火焰，他没有要伤害我们。
I mean, we know that she's not going to do that, but in this situation, I would be like, can you calm down? Can you control the flames a little bit? Can you show us that you are in control and not willing to hurt us? It is hot enough to melt iron, okay.
殿下，殿下，
You know, I was a little bit on the fence, but if your clothes burn up, sometimes you have to witness the devil in the flesh. Granted, from what we heard, it seems like she was not doing well financially, so she may not have eaten a lot, so development may be stunted a little bit.
大人，您的好奇心满足了吗？现在可以杀死我了吗？
I mean, why? There's no reason to kill you. If you were the devil, you would have killed us all instantly. You would have killed all the guards that tried to capture you. You would have taken revenge on your dad. You probably could have burned down the whole village. So, if anything, you are not a devil. So there's no real reason to kill you.
不，安娜小姐，我想聘用你。
I'm guessing this is the ending. It looks like the ending, or maybe the opening. Okay. So, it is the story that I read that time. Again, I like the concept that he's going to use, because it is one of those things I feel like Isekai is not doing enough with. Again, I still had my problems one of the reasons I did not continue reading it. So far, not bad, not bad. The quality I find good. They try to do these panning shots in 2D, which I feel like was not really necessary. I mean, this was pretty good. The whole showing of her power, the story makes a lot of sense. And only has 8 episodes, which I find a little bit low. But I hope they don't rush ahead with the story. I feel like this one, from what I remember, it should be a little bit slower, a little bit more deliberate pacing. So far, could be a very good show.